Welcome back to Friar Talk, everybody. Going live late on what is it, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, March 6th. We've had some spring training happen. We've got some updates. There's some excitement going around right now at the Padres, and of course, the main reason that we're going live right now is because Jose Iglesias signed. And it's an exciting signing. I mean, it's like what I think it was a 1 year, $3 million deal with another million of incentives. So another kind of cheaper deal for the Padres. But either way, like this is I think it's a pretty big addition just in terms of this is something they really needed. I saw people talking about the deal and they were like, oh, I don't really know how this guy fits in, whatever. Isaac and I were just talking about it right now. He's replacing Ha-Seong Kim. I feel like that's pretty clear, right? Like that's the way that you're seeing it too. I mean, it feels like that's what he is. He's a depth infielder. I like to pick up a lot though. I think it's really good. But what were your like initial thoughts with the signing?
I was kind of weirded out. I mean, not that I didn't expect it. Another one name you brought up was Donovan Solano, and I kind of agree with both of those. I mean, we talked about it before this. It's the energy and the excitement of Ha-Seong Kim with the production of Donovan Solano. I'm looking at his stats right now from last year. He hit 337, or sorry, he hit 337 last year. WRC plus, let me find it, 137. So he was a really good player last year, 830 OPS. For those of you who don't know, he was kind of like the pioneer of the OMG Mets. And that was a very exciting, fun team. And he was doing these concerts, and people were really excited to see him. And he was a lot of fun to watch, and the Mets were a lot of fun to watch. So it's a good addition. Now, you definitely wonder, does that make anyone in the infield an option on the trade market, or what happens here? Because right now you're looking at Jake Cronenworth, and initially you thought he was going to play second base. I thought he was going to play second base because I thought Luis Arias was going to play first base. Now you're kind of building a team where maybe Luis Arias is a DH and Jake Cronenworth is a first baseman, which is kind of odd to me though, because personally, I think Jake Cronenworth is better at second. And I don't think that's that much of a bold opinion. I think the numbers and the WAR show that he's much more valuable at second base. I think you signed him to be a second baseman. And I think his production in the lineup is that of a second baseman, not a first baseman. So you definitely start to wonder who on this team is going to be a trade option, because I don't know if they all stay. It's great depth if they do all stay, which is exactly what we had last year. But it's a good signing. I mean, if you go based off the numbers last year, even the last few years, 2022 he had a 708 OPS. 2021 he had a 701. 2020 956. 2019 724. So he's consistently a average player. Not great. Other than last year, he was great, but consistently average player. And I think that's what the Padres were looking for, somebody to get the job done at the bottom of the lineup.
Yeah, totally, dude. I don't know if you saw this. Do you know that he played for El Paso last year?
Yeah, I saw that. And
Like
now, I
not
guess
that much.
he was like, I'm not a minor leaguer. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. He's playing the major. He had played in the majors for like
It was damn good last year.
yeah. Yeah, he was really good last year. He had you said he hit 337, over 800 OPS in like half a season, but
Yeah.
still, really good numbers. His baseball savant page is good. I also feel like he's just one of those guys that's like really like you brought up the Ha-Seong Kim thing and Donovan Solano. I think in terms of what he's gonna bring as like defensively, way more on par with Kim. Like he's been a really good defensive player, I want to say, throughout his career. Like last year, like his fielding is like pretty solid. I think he, like you said, like he's typically been a shortstop. I'm pulling it up right now. I want to see what he's pretty much like only been a shortstop. He played second base a little bit last year.
Last year, right?
He played primarily second base last year. And then in 2021, he played a good amount of second base as well, but he's still primarily a shortstop that year.
Yeah.
Still, that's probably where he slates. I mean, like he'll definitely get some reps at short too. I think that I don't think they're gonna trade anyone. Like I see that you're talking about that. Maybe in terms of like borderline major league players like Aggie Rosario. I don't know, like I don't really think it makes that much sense, to be honest. Like, I think that they want the depth. Last year, what did we
It's great depth,
what do we
yeah.
see? We saw that the depth was so important. So I think that like Jake Cronenworth is going to be primarily a first baseman, but he's also going to play second. Jose Iglesias is going to be primarily a second baseman, but he's also probably going to play shortstop, maybe even third a little bit. Probably a lot less a third, if third at all. But we'll see him at shortstop a little bit too. Uh, Luis Ariz going to be primarily a DH. He'll probably play some first base, maybe even play a little bit of second base too, right? Then we'll see like Tirso Ornelas, right? Because it feels like we got to talk about him in a little bit here too. We can get into that a little after we break down Iglesias, but it feels like he's going to make the roster. Is he primarily a DH and he plays a little bit of left field, right? Like he might like float into that DH role too. So sometimes you might want. So sometimes let's say like let's look at this, right? Iglesias he needs an off day. There's a righty on the mound. They move Cronenworth over to second, right? Then they
Yeah.
have Arise at first, and then they have Tirso DH, right? So I think we're going to see a lot of different lineups. It's also kind of hard because it's like, what's your like ideal lineup? Like, sure, that's it, but it's like you see so many different lineups and so many different adjustments throughout the year, so it's hard to tell. I feel like, and that's why I like the move. I think it's a good depth. It's a cheap depth piece, and Iglesias is a solid player. Like his last 3 years in the minors, he's had a 700 OPS, or in the majors, sorry, he's had a 700 OPS in 21, 708 in 2022, and it's at 829 last year in part of a season. But like you get over a 700 OPS and you get plus defense in the middle infield. Yeah, dude, that's a valuable player. That's a player that's worth more than $3 or $4 million consistently. But yeah, I think also I see this. Has he made the roster for opening day? I feel like I feel like it would be who's his competition? Tyler Wade? Like
Yeah,
I
it'd,
think that's the guy, right? Or Iggy
it,
Rosario?
yeah, it'd be pretty weird if he didn't make the opening day roster considering the competition. Tyler Wade, it's a very weird. I don't hate Tyler Wade. I think he I think he does what we kind of expect him to. I don't expect him to be very good. It's just weird because you make this signing when you already have a depth infielder, even though he's not a good one. It feels like the money that was put in towards the Tyler Wade extension could have gone somewhere else. Um, but yeah, I'd imagine that's his competition. And honestly, Tyler Wade's going to make the roster. I don't see him not making the roster. Um, Eggy and Tirso, I think, are in a competition with each other. To be honest.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all works out. But I do think that he ends up making it. I guess like in terms of like other stuff going on in the minor, unless I don't know what else out there do you think there is to touch with him? Because I don't think it's like too crazy of a move. It's just like,
It's not.
yep, it's solid.
Yeah, it's a solid move. I'm trying to see like what we can talk about right now. I am scrolling and scrolling and scrolling because there's not a lot going on in Padre Land. That was like the main thing
I
that.
think it's Tirso, bro.
Well, yeah, Tirso too. I was gonna look up his stats right now.
He's hitting like 400, and he's
Yeah.
driving the baseball. He's pulling the baseball. He can be a lefty bench bat. I mean, so a while back, you weren't on when we talked about it, but we were kind of breaking down the roster about like who do we think was going to make it, and Tirso was kind of the odd man out, and we were expecting like, yeah, Aggie will probably make it. I want to say Aggie hit a home run. I think it was today.
Mhm.
But he's I don't know if I would say he's struggling. It's like all these guys have so few like plate appearances, you know.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting because both Aggie and Tirso, ideally, they both make the roster. You know, that's what you want to see. You want to see younger guys on the roster. We also talked about the fifth rotation spot. Randy Vasquez has not been good.
Oh, I know.
It feels like that. Like, I know we're going a little bit all over the place, but with the main storylines, it feels like Kolek might get it.
Fuck, dude.
They love him, bro. They love him. Like, that is very clear. So I want to look up his spring stats, but I think that, I mean, last year he wasn't that great, but he was kind of a project piece, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of going in without a shirt. I don't like the idea of going in with Kolek as a number 5, but it also just bugs me because Vasquez wasn't horrible last year. He definitely had his ups and downs, but you got a lot of pitchers out of that Yankees trade with for Juan Soto. So you're definitely hoping that you would get 2 of them. One of them is a damn great, amazing pitcher.
Yeah.
You're hoping to get at least another quality arm out of it. So if you don't get Brito or Vasquez to be a quality arm, at least number 5, I wouldn't say it's a loss of a trade, but they made a World Series. We haven't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Vasquez right now, I mean, it's also hard to like nitpick spring stats. That's what I think is like super fair. It's like, yeah,
It
he might have
worked
had a
out.
rough outing in spring, but he's looked really good in all of these other aspects. So it's like you can't tell everything, but it's also what we're seeing.
Mhm.
And also what we're hearing is that they like Kolek a lot. Um, but the two stats are 4 innings pitched for Vasquez. He has a 4.5 ERA, so it's like okay, whatever. But he has over a 3 WHIP. Like he just had so many runners on base, and when I've watched him too, it's been rough. Meanwhile, Kolek has pitched 5 innings. He's only struck out 3 guys, but he hasn't allowed a run, and his WHIP's at .4. Like he's been solid when he's came in.
Yeah.
Um, I want to see Matt Waldron. I want to check these other guys. I think Matt Waldron's been like solid.
Yeah.
He also is in the mix too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think he's definitely in the mix. Looking
Seven
at
innings,
Tirso.
5 strikeouts, 3.5 ERA, 1 WHIP. Like pretty solid for him. So he's definitely in the mix too.
I mean, the
What are you
thing
gonna
with
say though?
Waldron is you're probably expecting, maybe not expecting, but you're hoping for a 4 ERA. And honestly, realistically, he could probably get you that. I think Vasquez at his high at his peak, I think he could do it too if you give him some time. But there's definitely some times where he doesn't have much control. He leaks pitches over the plate, and it doesn't look good. But there were some games last year that he looked really good. I was going to talk about Tirso real quick. He's hitting 409 with a 1227 OPS, 500 on base percentage, in 22 at bats. He has a home run, so he is doing pretty good. And the past 2 years in the minors, he's got last year he had an 864 OPS in El Paso, and then the year before he had an 823 OPS in San Antonio and El Paso. So I mean, yeah, last 2 years have been good. Spring's been good. Looking
It
good.
seems like he's gonna make it, and he's gonna be a guy that's gonna face a lot of righties too. Just because, I mean, who do you got? You got Jason Hayward in that spot. Jason
Yeah,
Hayward kind of feels more like a depth piece where Tirso can also DH, like I was saying. Um, so you could see both of them actually in the lineup when a righty's out there. And last year, like under Mike Schilt, like dude, they wanted to really use the platoons. Have you noticed that? Like they really like using the
oh, they
platoon.
liked him last year for sure. Yeah, 100%.
So and I mean it worked really well. It worked super well. So I
Yeah.
think I think that that's something that we should expect this year. Um, dude, I think like I don't know, dude. I feel like I like the depth of this team. I know that that's been a big thing that's been talked about. The depth is good. Next year they're going to lose a lot of pieces. There's a lot of guys on 1-year deals, but for this year they're set up pretty good. I mean, I think that you're banking on like you have like a bunch of guys that could be solid contributors, and if there's not, there's other guys that you can still kind of fall back on, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's sorry. I'm looking for things to talk about. Yeah, it's good depth. I mean, it's. I think a lot of people think it's a much worse team than it. I think it is because it's really not a bad team, man. Again, I don't think they'll win 93 games. I think we're looking at 89 again. Hopefully, 88, 89. Um, but it's really not that bad of a team, man. I think where you're lacking the production or where you're gonna make up for the production that you got from Profar, and we've said this time and time again, from Profar and Higgy, those kind of guys, is you're gonna hope to get that production back from Xander Bogaerts, from Jake Cronenworth. You're hoping to get the longevity, the whole season of production from Manny Machado. You're gonna get Fernando back for more than half a season, hopefully. And you're gonna hope that Merrill does the same thing. Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect comment because I mean the Padres won 93 games with Fernando playing. I don't know how many he played last year. I'm gonna check right now, but he
It's got to
missed.
be like around 100, right?
Yeah, I want to say he played maybe 100, but he missed a lot of games last year, and they were still winning those ball games. He played 102 games last year, and in those 102 games, he only had 833 OPS, whereas we can realistically expect him at his best to hit over 900 OPS. So even though he had a great year, he still had 21 home runs in 102 games. Realistically, he could probably hit 35 this year. Um, and he was playing on a broken leg. You're looking at a guy that can probably give you a production over 900 OPS, 30 something home runs. I mean, he could do a lot, and that's where you're going to get the production from. You're going to make up. Um, Isaac is over the Padres. Sometimes I am, if I'm going to be honest. Uh, but that's where you're supposed to get the production from. You're going to get them from the superstars that underperformed, and I wouldn't say Fernando underperformed last year, but to his previous norms, it was a little bit of underperforming. And considering the injury, um, I'll cut him some slack. But like Manny being, I think, around an 800 OPS, he was great the second half as he still won a Silver Slugger. But Xander and Jake Cronenworth being the big ones because Xander Bogaerts last year. Let me
Was
see.
terrible, dude.
Yeah,
He's been bad too, and he's been really bad in spring.
yeah, he's been bad. And last year he had a 688 OPS, 92 OPS plus. He played in 111 games, only had 11 home runs. I mean, he wouldn't have even, let's say he did play the whole season at the trajectory he was at, he wasn't even going to break 18 home runs. He might have reached 18, which is what he hit, I believe, the year before. 688 OPS. It was just a really, really bad year. And
I mean,
honestly,
he looks like completely washed. Not to be like a Debbie Downer, but like
it doesn't look good, dude. Especially considering like the year before, I thought was bad. He had a 790 OPS, a majority of it being in the first and the last month of the season, but he wasn't horrible. And then last year, he didn't have a good month of the season. He was genuinely bad, and he had a good stretch or two, but it wasn't a long enough stretch to be like, oh, like he'll be fine. And again, he doesn't look very good right now either. And sorry, I know I'm talking a lot, Matt. I'm just trying to extend this video as long as possible because I know.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna be a pretty quick one today. We just wanted to hop on because we hadn't talked in a minute, dude. I mean, look at his Savant page. It's terrible.
And what was it? Can you pull up his 2022 Savant page?
22 or 23?
22, because 22 was his 5-WAR year.
I mean, the Savant page isn't even like that crazy here. It's just like
great.
It's like this is good,
But he was really good that year. That year he put up like a 5. I want to say a 5-WAR. Yeah, a 6-WAR, 833 OPS, 15 home runs, 307 batting average. And honestly, if he puts up the numbers he had in 2023, he had a 4.4 B-WAR, 790 OPS, 19 home runs. Matt, I'd be super ecstatic to get that from Xander Bogaerts if I'm being completely
Dude,
honest.
this is his 2023. This is crazy though.
And it's
Look
really
at that.
good. Yeah, it was a major, major fall off.
No, this is 23 when he had a 790 OPS. Look at his advanced numbers. They're terrible.
They're not good. Yeah,
They're better last year.
Yeah, they were,
which is really concerning. Also, I think everyone wants to just be like, oh yeah, like he did it right or whatever. Dude, this is the thing, bro. You go to this. This I love seeing this. You get the rolling OPS, right? Everyone wants to be like, oh yeah, he was fine. He was fine. Really? Because was he? Because let's see, where are we? End of August. The first day of August, 719 OPS.
Yep.
And then he just got super hot and he finished the year at the 790. But the August 1st, he had a 719 OPS.
Yeah.
And they were eliminated. They weren't, but they were basically eliminated,
Yeah. And if you go through like the first month of the season, before he got his hand hit in that Braves game, he was pretty fucking good. He was actually really good. I want to say it was that first Braves series. Was it in Atlanta?
Yeah. He was good right here. Yeah, like 1,000. We're like, this guy's pretty nice. And then,
we were super excited. I remember that. And it all went downhill from there. It's the last part of the season. But here's the thing, though. That year, it was frustrating, but we were kind of understanding. We're like, all right, a broken hand or whatever he got, whatever. Like, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt and hope that you get better next year. I don't know what his excuse was last year. I don't.
He was hurt for a while, right?
He was hurt. I don't remember the injury, nor do I remember how he got hurt. But I feel like even defensively, I'm gonna pull up his Fangraphs page.
Dude, well, that was the thing. Like, he got hurt last year, and it was like, all right. It wasn't like that's the whole thing. Like, you get comments like this, like, dude, if Fernando gets hurt, like, oh man, like, that's the worst case scenario. Like, he's got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing is Fernando's health. With Xander, it's like, well, he got hurt. Like, it's not really gonna change much. Like what? Like that's the thing, dude. Is like with this, like especially like with this Jose Iglesias signing, it's like what? Actually, I want to see people listening to this back because we're recording pretty late, and everyone in the chat right now. What are like the odds that Jose Iglesias puts up a better offensive year than Xander Bogaerts?
They're not bad. Honestly,
40%?
I would bet on it just because I think that I could make a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, if you had the odds, if you got the odds actually like out there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can make a good amount of money off that. I was gonna bring up Xander's projections for this year from Fangraphs. He's projected for 17 home runs, about what I would expect. A 266 average with a 733 OPS and a 109 WRC plus with a 3.7 WAR. Now, the WAR is not bad, but that OPS, it doesn't cut it for me. That's essentially what you got from Ha-Seong Kim in his like meh or like in 2022, but way worse defense. I'm gonna look at his defensive numbers. Let's see. Fielding. Okay, advanced fielding. So last year he put up a 0 defensive run saved, and the year before -4. So in his 2 years with the Padres, one as a full-time shortstop, another as a full-time second baseman, he's put up -4 defensive runs saved, which is very concerning because the year before he put up a 5 defensive runs saved.
Wait, what? Okay, so at least on Baseball Savant, he has in 23 he had a +2 run value, and last year he had a +4. But he's not gonna play shortstop this year, so
yeah, I'm on Fangraphs right now.
yeah. It's just different. I'm just saying, like at least they have him like positive, so
yeah. Yeah, I really hope so.
And then out to above average, he had 3 and 5, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
He's just like slightly above average.
Yeah, and I'm looking at all the projections. Almost every projection has him around a 3.5 WAR, around a 265 batting average. It's just the OPS that's kind of. I mean, because OPS is, as you know, no matter how old you are, you shouldn't deny that OPS does factor in batting average. It factors in everybody's favorite categories. If you're a batting average type of person, it does factor in batting average because batting average is factored into on-base percentage.
Yeah.
So OPS, he's projected, the highest projection I see for his OPS is 747. I'm hoping
you're paying him to do better than that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're paying him to do better than that. I'm hoping for like a 7, honestly, a 780.
That'd be awesome. I'd be so stoked. I would be so happy if that was the case.
I would be.
We got many more years with this dude.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, we're sitting at what? How many years after this?
It's been
7 more years after this, right?
That's like 8, 7, something like that.
Yep, 8 more after this. Holy shit.
Fernando's projected to hit 37 home runs with like a 900 OPS and a 5.8 WAR.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I want to put that up. Because we were talking about how Fernando underperformed last year, but the advanced numbers, they still love him, bro. This shit is insane. This shit is insane. Look at this. So if he would have had the expected numbers, he would have had over like almost 100 points higher to what his OPS was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was definitely times where you were like, damn, bro, why does this guy keep getting robbed? And even then, in 102 games, he put up a 3 WAR. So extend that over a full season, that's easily going to be over a 4 WAR.
And dude, look, this is the other thing. His range was totally down last year because he was hurt.
It was a broken leg, yeah. He was
look at the year before.
Yeah, it was stupid. And the year before, he put up a 4 WAR, despite, I think he had like under an 800 OPS the year before.
Yeah, I mean, once again, this year he's still pretty good, but he's still coming back into his own. Like last year, he was fully back. You know, like hitting the ball hard, barreling it, all that stuff. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, some interesting is, dude, his whiff and K rate are like way better than he used to be. So there's even like a chance that he's a better player this year than he was in 21.
Mm-hmm.
Which he had. I mean, look, he had almost 1,000 OPS that year, but yeah, that's crazy.
I'm looking at Manny's now.
Also, one thing I was gonna say is, I'll pull up Manny's too. Dude, do you think Fernando is gonna steal more bags this year?
Ah, man, that
Because
was.
he couldn't last year.
Well, I don't even know how many bags he stole the year before.
So the year before, he stole 29.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
sneaky,
really.
right? You didn't think he stole that
Yeah,
much.
yeah. I didn't think he stole that many. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if he's healthy, I could definitely see him stealing 30 bags. I don't see why not.
Yeah. Manny's is
Looking
pretty
at
good last.
Manny, he had a good baseball savant last year for sure. That's the thing. Manny's last year in the second half, he got crazy hot. Like he was back to Manny Machado, the Manny Machado that we knew, and his projections definitely say he's going to be that. We're looking at a Manny that's supposed to put up 29 home runs, 266 batting average, OPS around 800, and a 4 WAR with a 121 WRC plus. And honestly, outside of the home runs, because Manny usually averages around 27, 28 home runs.
Bro, don't disrespect Manny, bro. He's a lock for 30.
Yeah, he's always hitting 30
Look, he almost has 30 every year. This is
every
crazy.
year.
Like,
Exactly. And honestly, I think
said
these
being
projections are a little low. I think he's going to be around an 820, 830 OPS.
damn, dude, he used to hit a lot. Damn,
It's
dude,
just
in the
that,
60 games, he had 16. That's crazy.
it's just like, yeah, dude, that 60 game season was stupid for him. He honestly, he might have won MVP that year if it was a
Dude,
full
yeah,
season.
who was who won it that year?
I want to say it was Freddie Freeman.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. On the Braves, right? That was Braves year?
Yeah, that was the year he was on the Braves. I'm gonna check one more, and it's gonna be Jake Cronenworth's.
Yeah, I got you. I'll pull it up too.
That's a big one. Ugh.
I mean, it's not that terrible.
This baseball savant's not bad.
Dude, okay, you also got to realize too is like if Jake Cronenworth is playing second base, making the money he's making, it's like, yep, that's solid.
Yeah, that's why the Jose Iglesias thing was a little confusing to me because like I was set on the idea that Jake was gonna play second. And I want to say that this projection, oh God. See, because if he puts up his numbers as a second baseman with the defense he plays, he's projected 15 home runs, a 240 average with around a 720 OPS.
That's where it usually is.
Yeah, and he's projected for a 1.9 WAR. So I want to say at second base, because in 2022 he put up those numbers, at least pretty similar to those numbers, and he had a 4 WAR. I think he had a 4 WAR. Let me check.
Dude, we need
3.7.
if you could put up like, dude, it's crazy. It sucks that like this was the year 21 when he was a baller, dude.
Oh, dude, 21, he was stupid.
He was so good.
Yeah, he was
Defensively too. He was crazy that year.
yeah, he was really good.
Look at this. I mean, it's not like his stuff doesn't really change that much, but he had a lot better numbers.
He hit like 20 something home runs.
Yeah, let's see. He had
22?
21 home runs, 33 doubles, 7 triples.
Yeah, he was
That's good.
slugging. He was slugging that year. Oh, well, I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now. His slugging percentage that year was a 460, and ever since then,
Yeah.
it's 400 every year.
Under every year.
400.
If he can have over a 400 slugging, and I also say I don't think that's necessarily coming from the home runs. It's coming from the doubles. It's from
Yeah.
it comes from gap in the baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, they said they can't see this screen share. Well, at least we're saying the numbers too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shoot, he was really good in 21 and 22. I mean, if he can get the slugging percentage back up to like it doesn't even have to be as long as it's like a 400, because the year before, the 2 years before, the 2020 season, 477, 2021, 460. So if you're looking at someone who can get back to 400 with like a 330 on base percentage and the type of defense he plays, honestly, like I keep saying, the numbers are much more valuable at second base when you put up those type of numbers and 15 home runs or whatever he's going to hit. It's not bad. It's really not a bad season for Jake Cronenworth, considering 11 million. There's some really bad pitchers making 11 million right now, and I think that's what Jake Cronenworth's making.
dude, I think he might even make less.
Yeah, I'm gonna check right now.
Yeah. A couple questions from JDS. Apparently, Manny said we're winning the division.
I saw that.
Manny likes to talk. Manny's just gonna always talk. So,
Yeah,
would I like them to? Yes. Do I think they're going to? No. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
also don't think it matters. It's like make the playoffs.
exactly.
I think they're in a good spot to make the playoffs too.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
and for the Padres fans that are really low on the Padres, because see, now the reason I think Padres fans are low on the Padres is because of the Dodgers. I don't necessarily think it's because of what the Padres. Yes, losing Profar sucks. Losing HSK sucks. Losing some of the guys that they've lost, including the Joe Musgrove injury, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad of a team, and I think people are more down on the Padres because of the move the Dodgers are making or have made. And I think what people are forgetting, this isn't the times when you have to play your division rival 19 times. We're playing the Dodgers maybe 10. I think 10 to 12 is like the amount you're playing them. You're not playing them that much. Outside of that, you're playing the rest of the league, and really the only time you got to worry about the Dodgers outside of I want to say it's 3 series throughout the year, is the playoffs. So you just got to make it there, man, and then you can worry about it then. But I still think the Padres are a good team, man.
Yeah. And then okay, final question. Will Nando return to pre-PED stats? Bro, the advanced numbers say yes. They don't say yes. They scream yes.
I would bet on it.
Yeah, I would bet on it too.
Yeah.
I think they're
100%.
Yeah, I think it's JDS said this. I think it's because of the 24 scoreless innings and stuff. Yeah, like the momentum of it. It is. It definitely
I
is.
can imagine losing to them doesn't make it any better. I get that, especially because you were so close, man. You were right there, and I remember specifically that game, man. You're within maybe 15, 20 feet of 2 Manny bombs.
Dude.
They're right there at the warning track. That's baseball, man. That's baseball. There's times when you're gonna do that, and there's times when you're gonna keep hitting the fucking warning track.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll go live soon sometime. We got some spring training stuff. We're just kind of waiting for the season to start here. But I'm pumped, dude. I'm excited for baseball. I'm excited to just be chilling at home at night and just watching baseball and like not going out and stuff.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if that makes me sound like old or what that does, but honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to not spend the money, man.
April through September when you're chilling and watching baseball is awesome, especially if your team's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now October.
It's not even fun. It's only fun at the end if you win.
I fucking hate October, dude. It's the worst.
It's like very amazing, but it's like there's a lot of bittersweetness with it. It's like I'm so stressed the whole time, you know?
Yeah, it's so scary. Heart is pounding. I think okay. Matt and I will talk about this. I was gonna say something, but I don't want to say anything before. I don't want to sound stupid, so we'll close it out.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all soon. Have a good one.